Studio check.
Frequencies check.
We are live on air.
You are listening to the In Fact Blessing the Airwaves. Take the journey into the world of sports, news, entertainment, while embracing the hottest beats on the planet. Rocking the mind, body, and with energy, electricity, and a splash of controversy. Now, without further ado, it's our pleasure to bring to you
The biggest show in the world.
Biggest show in the world.
the biggest show in the world, the SBTV Nation.
Might want to put your coffee down and get your popcorn ready, gang. SBTV Nation, biggest show in the world. Dreams in the house. I'm here with the Mad Hatter and Cowboy fans. If you're sensitive, back up.
I don't know, Dream. The Cowboys look pretty damn impressive.
Don't give me that hat, because that's the problem right there.
Why is that?
That's the hat. Let me ask you a question. Did we not learn anything from last year's playoff performance, regular season run by the Carolina Panthers and the killer Cam Newton and all the stuff that went on with that?
I'm sure, and I'm sure the whole football world remembers that as well, Dream. So,
because the Cowboy fans don't remember it because they're running around acting just like Cam right now. Dabbing, running their mouth, the selfies on the sidelines. We can't be beat. The offense is all that. The running game, Ezekiel Elliott, the offensive line that I just can't hear enough about.
yes.
No one looked in recent memory. No team looked as impressive as the Carolina Panthers last year in the playoffs.
I agree with you.
When the Panthers started that playoff run, they smoke showed Seattle and Arizona. They beat the dog stuff out of both of those teams.
Yeah, they did.
Okay, I remember the Seattle game. It was like 30 at the half.
Yeah, right.
Remember that? Listen, if Carolina Panthers, y'all can say what you want, that team looked invincible going into the Super Bowl.
They did.
Invincible. So, Cowboy fans, I'm just going to tell you right now. Your boy I started the hate group. I started it the other day on Twitter. Let everybody know, because I can't do it, dude. Because, and it's not just the Twitter guys. It's it's your friends, family members. Everybody and their mother now is just full all out going ham with the Cowboys going to win the Super Bowl now.
Well, you know what? Hey, Dream, you know what? Well, the road to the Super Bowl goes through Jerry's world. That's number one. So, as far as the NFC is concerned, there are a couple of pretty decent teams in the NFC, being the Green Bay Packers, who Dallas has already beat. But then you also have the Atlanta Falcons.
You got the Atlanta Falcons. You got Green Bay now, but a very much different Green Bay Packer team from the Green Bay Packer team that the Cowboys played. You also have Dallas has already shown they have an inability to stop the no-huddle offense. Okay, that's been shown by the Giants and by the Redskins. It was used a little bit in Detroit in the first half of the Monday Night Football game. But Dallas fans, listen, I love you. I get it. The run game looks awesome, and the offensive line is incredible. I'm with you, okay? I am with you. You can still not get around the fact you have a bad defense, okay? You know what? I won't even say bad. You have an okay defense, all right? You have an okay defense. You have a defense that's susceptible to a no-huddle offense, and you still have a rookie quarterback.
True.
No matter what you tell me, those are not additives to be going into the playoffs super duper confident. You should be going into the playoffs mad humble, saying, you know what, it's been a great season, but boy, I hope we can get it together in the playoffs. I just hope that we have a nice playoff run. I hope we can get this win. I hope Dak doesn't make the rookie mistake. That's what I should be hearing out of Cowboy fans. Instead, I'm hearing out of Cowboy fans, you see Dez? We got it now. That's the greatest wide receiver to ever play the game. You see Dez? I go to the gym. I got Cass next to me talking. Dude, please don't talk to me about the Cowboys, please. I go to the store. There's a guy with the cowboy, got that old leather cowboy jacket. You know, the one from back in the 90s?
Yep.
Got that on, talking to me with the Emmitt Smith jersey. I'm like, dude, look, come on, man. Like, y'all ain't won since you ain't been in the Super Bowl since the 90s.
Right.
Okay? Haven't been in the Super Bowl since the 90s. Now, let's just keep it real right now. 2 years ago in the playoffs, you got beat by Green Bay. There's still water in my basement from the crying that went on with that game.
Mm-hmm. Dream, here's
fall
what
back a little. Just be a tad bit humble. Fall back. It's been a good season, and I get you're excited. I mean, all that I get. But the fact that just the arrogance right now, the attitude, if anybody should be that arrogant, Patriot fans, they just go to the Super Bowl, go to the playoffs, and win all the time. Yeah, you hear nothing from them. They're the quietest fan base that you could ever be around. And by the way, they're the best team in football right now, as far as I'm concerned, because they've got this identical records, except they've got Belichick and Brady, the greatest ever. Yeah. So I don't care what you say, Cowboy fans, the Patriots are still that team.
Well, here's something I don't understand. So the other night during the game, you had the crowd chanting that they wanted Tony Romo. Okay? Now, Jerry Jones comes out, and when asked about putting Romo in the game, he said no. He doesn't want Romo to get injured. Now, Dallas Cowboys have nothing to play for. Dude, nothing. Nothing to play for in this last game. It's almost kind of telling the tale of Tony Romo is like their most valuable quarterback. Did you get that impression?
I did not.
You don't get that impression. Why?
I got the impression that they didn't. I feel that they're worried about the psyche of Dak, and I felt like they just don't want to bring any type of quarterback controversy to the table. And I think that they just feel like they want to just roll what they're rolling with. They like the momentum that they have right now, and they don't want to tinker with it. And I can respect that to an extent. Right. But you and I both agree that Tony Romo should be getting a start in these next. Should have got a start on Monday, and he should have got a start on in this next game. Just to get him ready in the event that something happens and he does have to play.
Well, I mean, if you're upper management and the coaching staff, you just tell them, hey, listen, you know what? Regardless of what happens, I don't care if you throw for 500 yards and 4 or 5 touchdowns per game. Dak is going to start in the playoffs. So we just want to get you in, get you acclimated with the system again, get you in a live game situation, and have you start these last 2. I think that's a perfect scenario. But I guess, who am I? I guess that they have the winning pedigree and they want to keep the momentum going. So I understand that point of it, Dream. I never really thought about it until you just said that.
Sure. The only other thing that I would say about Tony Romo is I don't know. Is Tony Romo fielding the snaps for the place kicker?
Fielding the snaps for the place kicker?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Okay, because Romo, I don't know if you noticed, but Romo, and Cowboy fans know this because they lost to Seattle one year, but Romo botching the snap, and why you guys are so dope. I know about all the Cowboy losses because I've had mad crying over the crib. There's trust me, there is still water in my basement from the Cowboy fans crying over the years' playoff losses. But Tony Romo, we haven't talked about this much, and I don't know if, I'm sure other fans, other teams know this and do the homework. Tony Romo, though, is available to hold the place kicking for the field goal kicker. So Dallas does have another opportunity of having a starting quarterback, hold the snaps, in case they want to, do some trickeration. So sure. That's one thing to keep in mind as well, and maybe a spot they can use Romo in those situations. They will probably want to start showcasing it now, so when people see him, they don't expect that to go down.
Yeah, that's a very good point. I like that. So,
but I'm sure that's not. That's just one small. I'm sure that's not what they want to use him for.
Yeah, got it. Well, you know what, guys? Hey, listen, we've done a lot of beating the snot out of Cowboy fans.
We have. And one more thing about Romo, since we're on it, Romo. If you go to Denver next year, you go right back to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Because with that defense,
go to Denver, you go right back to the Super Bowl. Because if Denver had a quarterback, we wouldn't even be talking about the Cowboys right now.
Guys, we are getting ready for our fantasy football contest. We're going to be doing 20 members of this new team, and I am the defending champion, and you have to knock me off.
The
Dream,
only
I'm
thing
defending my
slightly as
title.
aggravating as the Dallas Cowboy fans is the fact that the Mad Hatter won this week's fantasy football league.
I am truly happy that I was able to raise my belt high right over the Dream, looking at you way down at the bottom, Dream. So
One
you know what?
and done.
One and done. You think so, huh? I don't know, man. And listen, you know what? I beat 15 people in this league. Now I got to beat 20. So I'm just making it harder for myself to defend my title because I'm the reigning and defending champion. So, guys, we'll be putting it out on Twitter. The DraftKings contest. It'll be the SBTV Nation number 3. So get ready, and I'm looking forward. I'm going to invite everybody that was in the last couple of contests to join this one, and then we'll get a couple of more members here that I could beat down as well, Dream, as I defend my title.
I love to see that, and this is what I'm talking about. This is the type of rhetoric that just gets your boys' blood boiling.
Well, hey, do something about it. Why don't you try to beat me? Why don't you try to not be in like 10th place this time? Why don't you try
when I was ahead of you the last one.
It's beginner's luck, as
crickets.
the evil genius alluded to.
As I was ahead of you the last one, it was crickets. Just what I'm talking about with the Dallas Cowboy fans. Y'all been losing for almost a century.
Yeah.
Forget all that losses. Forget all them playoff losses. Forget all that. We win the Super Bowl right now.
Yeah. Well. Hey, Dream, you know what? I did pretty damn good this time, and I plan on doing good this next week coming up. Now,
I'm happy that you finally won something because you haven't won nothing since UConn won the national title in basketball. So it's good that you're back
I'm not the one that's salty on here every Monday, Dream. You're the one that's always screaming about the NFL every Monday.
Back in the game again. Hat is back, y'all.
It's such a watered-down product. Blah, 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 blah. That's because you got to go reload on Mondays.
Woo,
that's
the
why.
reload has been hot. I ain't gonna lie to you. Your boy gonna tell you the truth.
Yeah, definitely, man. So looking at the so speaking of the NFL, guys, we got playoff implications, and this is gonna make it very interesting in fantasy football this week because you got some teams that have nothing to play for. And then you got some other teams here that have everything to play for. So, and then you have all the booty teams that are eliminated. And who knows, maybe you get some of that, they're going to lose to get the first round draft picks and stuff like that. Who knows? So
the NFL this week is going to be a very interesting week as far as fantasy football is concerned.
I agree.
Because you're going to get cats like Joe Jelly Donut out there on the field shining.
All right, right on. You never know who you're going to get and who's going to be the sleeper. So as far as the NFL is concerned, the Atlanta Falcons clinch a first round bye with a win or a tie and a Seattle loss or tie. And you know what? I'm not going to rattle off all the scenarios, but I'm sure you could just read this somewhere else. I'm just kind of pointing out the key ingredients to their moving forward as far as what they can clinch this week. Seattle clinches a first round bye with a win and an Atlanta loss or tie. And then a couple of other scenarios there. Detroit clinches the division title with Sunday Night Football as they have to go into the Tundra and win. If they win, they clinch the division and get the playoffs. Yeah, I know. Green Bay lost last year to Minnesota in this kind of same game. By the way,
that game's not in the Tundra, Hat. It's in Detroit.
It's in Detroit?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that. Wow, that's going to be a good game.
It's in Detroit. It's going to be a dope game. Definitely a good game.
I thought it was in the Tundra.
No, that is in Detroit, player.
All right, so Washington Redskins are still alive. They got to win, and they basically have to have, what is this? Green Bay-Detroit game does not end in a tie. Whatever that, okay. Damn, so there has to be a decisive winner in that. And then Washington tie and Green Bay loss and Tampa Bay loss or tie. Washington Redskins are still hanging by a thread, Dream. And Tampa Bay Buccaneers clinch with a win, a Washington tie, a Green Bay loss, and they clinch strength of schedule victory tiebreaker over Green Bay.
The Washington Redskins, there is some talk out of that camp. Deshaun Jackson headed to free agency market, and he's been talking about he doesn't know where he's going to land. So there is some rumblings behind the scenes going on with the Washington Redskins. Don't really need that distraction right now at this point in the season, but keep that in mind.
Well, you want to talk about distractions? How about Tampa Bay with Doug Martin testing positive for PEDs?
That's a huge distraction,
Yeah.
especially right now. It's very interesting, the timing of that whole thing. I always raise my eyebrow to certain things and the timing of them, and this particular incident is a bad time for that to be going down.
That is absolutely brutal, and he's my guy. You know I love taking him in fantasy all the time.
I do.
You know what I'm saying? So that's
why you usually don't win.
Yeah, shut up. God, I don't know, man. Brate has been very good, Cameron Brate, for Tampa
Yeah,
Bay.
you've had some success with Cameron Brate. I got to give you some big ups to that. That's a sleeper guy. You haven't really talked about him on the show, though, but you've done some work with him. The other week, he had nothing, and then out of nowhere, my man blew up.
He did. Exactly. So moving on here, Dream, let's talk about the AFC real quick, as the New England Patriots still have a little bit to play for. If they win this week in Miami,
which they will.
Not so fast.
Which they will.
They will clinch home field advantage throughout the AFC playoffs, which they want. However,
I have an emergency Tom Brady jersey behind the glass, just in case the Cowboys make it to the Super Bowl. I break the glass and throw Tom's terrific jersey on, and will be showing my enthusiasm for the Patriots at the Super Bowl party this year. I am rooting against anyone that's playing the Dallas Cowboys. Anyone, any game, anyhow. We will be at the bar because, Hat, and I'm sorry I'm back on this topic, but Hat, we got to talk about this for a second. Hat and I went to the bar a week ago. Was it nobody in the bar, but Cowboy people were still in there making mad noise?
Yeah, they were. How about the Denver Bronco fan?
Oh, and then there was one Denver Bronco fan that looked like he had gotten a furlough from the halfway house and decided to go to Buffalo Wild Wings and watch the game.
He was having a seizure on every first down.
Was beyond annoying.
Oh, definitely, man. So looking at this here and looking at so here's an interesting situation here, Dream. Yes. Now, New England Patriots, let's say they do lose. Worst case scenario, they got to go to Oakland.
Yep.
Without Derek Carr.
I know, Oaktree. I feel so bad. Hearts and prayers go out for Derek Carr. I don't know why I want to call him David Carr. Derek Carr. Dude, that so reminds me. Do you remember the year that Carson Palmer got injured in the playoffs, that first game by the Steelers?
Arizona.
And that year he was with actually Cincinnati that year, and the Steelers injured him. I don't think Carson Palmer honestly has ever been the same since, but they were headed probably. The sky was the limit for them that year, and he got hurt, and then it was a wrap from there. And that so reminds you of what just happened to the Oakland Raiders.
Well, you know what? I'll be honest with you. I did not see the Raiders with or without Derek Carr making it to the Super Bowl, Dream.
Raiders, you know what? They had that playground. They had that. I don't know what I want to say. That swagger. That's the right word I'm looking for. The Raiders had that swagger this season, and they never got flustered when they were down. They always maintained poise. I'm telling you, the Raiders were a talented team. Nobody talks about their offensive line. Their offensive line played well. Very talented team, but I do not think by any stretch of the imagination that they're going to go anywhere now.
All right, definitely. I mean, how did they overcome this injury? That's huge.
Huge.
Oh, brutal. So Raider fans out there, I completely understand you being a little upset about it, man. So, you know what? The Oakland Raiders clinched the division title and a first-round bye with a win or tie, or Kansas City lost or tie, and clinch home field advantage throughout the AFC playoffs with a win and a New England loss. The Kansas City Chiefs, basically all the 6 teams are in as far as the AFC is concerned. So the Kansas City Chiefs clinched the division title and a first-round bye with a win and an Oakland loss. So they might be playing in Kansas City, Dream.
K-Sizzle, I like them, but I can't with them. First of all, Andy Reid's record in the playoffs,
brutal.
Him and Don did not do well in the playoffs.
No.
And then after Don, he didn't do that well either. And with this Kansas City team, he hasn't done great either in the playoffs. And I just don't, I don't like Alex Smith as a quarterback. I don't care what you guys say. I know Kelsey had a dope game last week against the Broncos, but, it's like feast or famine with them. I just don't believe in KC.
And watch out for the 6th seed Miami Dolphins, Dream.
Well, I'm watching out for them.
With Matt Mizzle at the helm. Go into Buffalo, and Rex Ryan gets fired after that.
I am watching out for the Miami Dolphins, as I do have my accountant on standby. There could be a substantial wager on the first game that the Dolphins play in the playoffs.
Well, here's the problem. They got to go to either Pittsburgh.
Yes.
Or, let's see. Where else would they have to go? Oh, but Houston, Dream. That game could go either way. I'm sorry. They could beat the Houston Texans.
You know what? You're actually right. They could beat the Houston Texans. I agree with that.
I think the Houston Texans are the worst team in the playoffs here in the AFC. Tom Savage or Brock Osweiler? Come on.
No, forget about Brock. All right, I don't even want to discuss. I don't even want to discuss Brock. All right, please move him to the side. Okay. Savage, though, I did not like the way. I liked the way he looked in the game he came in for Brock. I did not like the way he looked in the beginning of the last week's game in the first half, but then he came alive in the second half and he got it done what they had to get done. So let's see how he looks this week with one more week under his belt before we really kick him to the curb as being dusty too. Let's take a look and see how he breaks out this week against the Titans, who Marcus Mariota losing him.
Yeah.
Losing him. I mean, the Titans are out of the playoffs anyway, so it's not like, that's going to mess up their playoff run, but bad way to end your season.
Oh, definitely. And quite frankly, I mean, when you say he came alive in the second half, talking about Tom Savage, Dream, they scored 12 points. Not an offensive juggernaut at all. It's that number one defense that's keeping them in these games.
Okay.
And they're in a horrible division, too, on top of it. So
they are in a horrible division. I definitely agree with you. But you know what? Say the same thing about the Patriots. We said that about them for years.
Yeah, good point. And what do you think about Fat Rex getting fired?
Love that. What I think? Didn't I tell you that was going down? Him and his brother. I said it just like that. I said Fat Rex and his brother are going to be a wrap, and they are. And good. Bye.
Is Rob Ryan going too?
Yeah, they fired him. Yeah, that was a kid. They double teamed him. It was like the double mint twins. They said, out of here.
Sat them both in the office and had the conversation.
Two-piece with no biscuit. And Rob Ryan should have got fired when they fired the offensive coordinator. That, I told you, it was kind of a smack in the face to him. I don't know why he didn't go ham on the media and be like, what the hell they firing me for? Why didn't they fire him? His defense gave up mad points. But, hey, goodbye to him. I think Rob Ryan is done with the NFL, though.
He should be.
Yeah, I think Rob Ryan.
Maybe he becomes like a defensive line coach or something.
I don't even know about that.
Not a defensive coordinator. I mean, he has been bounced around left and right, and he's had some of the worst defenses.
It's like to see Rob and Chip Kelly just head on over to Oregon.
Yeah, right. You know what? That would not be a bad tandem in collegiate football, to be honest with you. So,
matter of fact, Fat Rex, let's send him to college football too.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? Those guys would, and I'm making fun of it, but honestly, those guys would probably, Rex Ryan would honestly probably be a great college football coach because, he's a motivator and a facilitator of talent. Kids buy into that. With college kids buy into that big time.
Of course.
So that would be a great look for him. I mean, I don't know what college he should go to. I guess I could think of a few, but that would be a great look probably for all of them. We know Chip's success in college, and Oregon would love to have him right back. So, you know what? Guys, get to college.
Yeah, get to college. I agree with you on that, Dream. So, you know what? That'd be a pretty interesting situation. So, hey, guys, let's move on unless you got any other NFL.
I don't have any other NFL. That's it.
All right, so you want to talk about college football and the bowls and what's been going on? Because what I understand is that the underdogs have been coming to form left and right, Dream. A lot of people are murdering it with the dogs.
Okay, and that could be true. I haven't really gotten involved in a lot of these games. To me, these games right now are not the greatest matchups. Kind of a coin flip. You don't really know where these teams are at. I did like Utah last night, but on the money line, which I talked about on Twitter. As far as the other games, some of them have been, I don't know, suspecty. I watched West Virginia. Have you seen any of them, Matt?
I've seen bits and pieces. You know, the problem is I have a
watched-
massive challenge with this whole scheduling. I have a massive challenge with this. Now, I don't know the percentage of people in the country that work this week, but I'm in one of those percentages where I'm at work, like, all this week.
No doubt.
You know what I'm saying? Maybe, I mean, what do you got? Maybe 20%, 25% of the people that are off for the whole week or whatever. The game's at 2 o'clock, 5 o'clock. That is very difficult for me to catch any of. I just can't do it. I mean, I like to be sitting. If I'm wagering on a game, I want to watch the game. I want to see if there's anything that I could find. Like, if I'm on the right side, maybe pound a live line or something like that. Or even if I'm on the wrong side. You know, it's hard for me to bet a game where I'm sitting there trying to work and watching my phone left and right. It's just hard.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I understand where they're at, and I understand that they're trying to get all this money and they're trying to get the most amount of ratings. But how many people are watching a Wednesday game at 2 o'clock in the afternoon?
I have no clue, and I don't understand why they didn't just go ham for this Saturday.
Or just spread it out maybe a little bit more.
It is spread out, though. That you could. I mean, they did spread it out, but I don't see why they didn't go ham Saturday. They could have started off at 11 o'clock on Saturday and ended at 10 if they wanted to, and just gave you mad games Saturday. And I think they would have got a lot more viewing than they're getting, because I agree with you. And in some of these games, you know, they're popping off mad late. I do need to discuss a little bit about Washington State getting beat by Minnesota.
Wow.
And by the way, okay, that is a little precursor, because if you think that Washington, in my opinion, I think, and I talked about this during the season, I liked Washington coming out because it gave a representation of all the conferences. I felt like the Pac was the weakest conference. But Washington getting beat by Minnesota, to me, is throwing me a big red flag at that Alabama game, telling me that Bama, it could be a crime scene.
Oh, I mean,
it could be a crime scene.
It's a 15-point spread, and I watched what USC did to Washington. And Alabama, I mean, dude, it just seems like you said, Dream, you may just have a bloodbath there. Because you know what? I just don't think the quarterback play of Washington, that front four is going to, I mean, they're going to do some damage there. The one thing that I did hear the other day is that Jalen Hurts is one of the biggest fumblers out there. And Washington does create a lot of turnovers. So that's probably the only thing that can keep them in that game, to be honest with you.
And Butch Slap, the Pats haven't done anything yet, but they've been the most successful team in the last few. Please stop.
Yeah.
They talk about dude quit hating. Where you been? You just got dropped on the planet this year? You don't know how successful the New England Patriots are? Out of here. That's just that Dallas Cowboy rhetoric. Okay, let me keep moving from that. Listen, Hat.
Yes.
Bama, the thing with Bama is, you know, their defense is solid.
Of course.
All right? So now, my thing is this. Washington's going to get probably in that position where they're going to have to throw the ball a lot.
Yeah.
And that can be the recipe of destruction.
Yeah, because especially Alabama with that secondary, how they pick, pick sixes for days.
Dude. Listen, I'm sorry. Listen, y'all, I know there's probably some Washington listeners talk about it's going to be a good game. And it may be. But right now, with that because Minnesota's dusty.
Yeah.
Okay, don't tell me Minnesota's a powerhouse. Washington State got beat. And by the way, Minnesota kind of dominated. Washington State could not move the ball against Minnesota.
I know.
So I'm just trying to figure out, like you said, how Washington is going to have success moving the ball against Alabama.
I don't know, Dream. I don't know. But you know what? We'll be talking about that game with the Evil Genius. And we'll be having a conversation about that this weekend. And looking at it here, I mean, Alabama only gives up 11 points a game, 11.8, and 184 through the air, 63 on the ground only. I don't
One
know.
of my people in the nation, Killer Cam 505, says underdogs are 10-2 against the spread, 9-3 straight up.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
The bowl games so far. I know you were saying that. I just want to give the exact
No, he's got
stat
the exact
out there.
numbers. I love it. So let's have a conversation about the games that are going on today, as they start at 2:00, and I won't be able to watch the 2:00er. But maybe I can. Maybe I can get a little. Maybe I can get a little preview from you to see what your thoughts are. If you got a little time to watch some of these games today, Dream, because I do not. It's crazy today.
Believe it or not, I don't have time to watch the games today either.
Okay.
And I'm definitely not making time to watch South Florida, South Carolina.
You don't want to watch the Cox? South Carolina Gamecocks are 6-6.
I will get away from that comment. I'm not a big fan of watching that.
All right, I understand that. So South Carolina Gamecocks are 6-6, facing the 10-2 South Florida Bulls, and the South Florida Bulls are -10 with an under/over of 62 points. South Carolina against the spread is 2-5 in their last 7 games. South Florida is 7-1 straight up in their last 8. And they've been hitting a lot of overs. 5 out of 6 have gone over with South Florida. South Carolina, Dream, they only average 19.3 points per game. Versus South Florida, who's putting up a ton of points, 44 to be exact, just under 44 to be exact. What's your thoughts here? I mean, tale of 2 different conferences, and to see the SEC getting 10 points in any kind of bowl game versus a team like South Florida is kind of crazy.
It is, but this South Carolina team, they've been bad most of the season. You lose Coach Spurrier in the middle of the season last year. Don't really know what the atmosphere and the attitude of this team has been. They've been very dysfunctional for most of this season. Caught some big, impressive wins as far as Tennessee was concerned. And even the Missouri win, as far as I'm concerned, was impressive. They lose to Florida, got murdered by Clemson in their last performance. Don't really know what you're bringing to the table. But I know that based on what everybody's talking about, the Dogs, a lot of people will probably be inclined to take South Carolina with that 10. Can't do it. I don't like South Carolina. I don't like the way their offense is. Their defense is okay. Spurrier was not the greatest talent recruitment as far as defenses are concerned. I know he had his hands on the offense, but not the defense. To me, this is a no play. I don't like this game at all. I don't. And I do like South Florida a little bit, but, you are talking about an SEC team in South Carolina. Even though SEC hasn't been looking that dope so far,
It only looked good with the SEC U-Log that I watched the other day. So, I don't know, man. You know what? When you see an SEC team being a 10-point underdog versus an American Conference team, it's kind of crazy. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure a lot of underdog players are going to be sitting out there licking their chops with this one, probably jumping on the 6-6 South Carolina team. I don't know.
Hey, guys, just remember one thing. The law of averages, if you flip a coin 100 times, it'll be 50 times heads, 50 times tails. So that would mean,
at some point,
in my opinion, this is my opinion. So the law of averages is in my opinion, but this is my opinion right here. At some point, the dogs will stop barking.
At some point, the dogs will stop barking. Exactly. Probably when Bama goes on.
I'm looking at those games. I think those games, I think you're getting more a solid competition in this. Some of these teams, you don't really to me, there's not really a solid favorite because, like I said, it could be a coin toss in some of these situations. Right
on, Dream. So moving on to the next game here, you've got the ACC versus the SEC. You got Vatech, who is -7, with an under-over of 61 at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Arkansas +7, under-over of 61, Dream. If you look at Vatech statistically, they are superior in everything on paper. Points for, points against, points differential, pass yards, rush yards, offensive, defensive, turnover differential, everything. They're better. And to be honest with you, I don't think, if you look at the ACC versus the SEC this year, very, very similar as far as power rankings are concerned.
Agreed.
Arkansas is a tough team, but I think Vatech is a better team. I like Vatech to get the job done here, but this game might be a stomachache. What's your thoughts?
Stomachache. Very big stomach ache. I don't really know. Oh, this is a tough one. Once again,
man.
It's a coin toss. This particular game's a coin toss. I like Vatech coming out of the gate, but then I start thinking about some of the work that Arkansas has done, and beating Florida 31-10 for Arkansas to me was impressive because Florida has a very good defense, a lot better than Virginia Tech.
Right on. Exactly.
So that's one thing that kind of makes me look, and I say Austin Allen may be able to have some success with some things against this Virginia Tech defense. I can't touch this game. I don't really like it. I don't really like this game. I don't. If anything, I slightly like the over, but I wouldn't go crazy with it. Just think this is another coin toss situation. I'm not picking a side here.
You know what? I think Vatech's been doing it defensively this year, Dream. And you know what? They're allowing under 200 yards passing per game. And I just feel like they can do enough to get this job done and get the game won.
Doing it defensively? Hold on a second, mate.
I think I'm going to... What do you mean?
They gave up 42 to Clemson and lost. I know it's Clemson, but they gave up 42 to Clemson. Kid, here's the one that bothers me. They gave up 31 to Notre Dame. Notre Dame's offense, not good.
Yeah, I get it. But
not good.
I don't know, Dream. You know what? I think they'll put the pieces together and make it happen. I mean, their opponent pass completion percentage, they're number 5 in the land. They only allow, it's less than half the time their opponents are completing completions. So you know what? This is a 5:30. This is a game I can watch. And there's a very good chance I might get on Vatech today. Moneyline situation, because I think it's going to be a stomach ache. So I think
I'm pretty sure it's going to be a stomach ache. I am pretty sure of that. Definitely, and I definitely think if you're going to do it in your situation, if you do like Virginia Tech and you're going to take them, get rid of the points.
I am getting rid of the points. Exactly. So I'm probably going to pair that with a couple of different things here. But the last game on the ticket got Oklahoma State versus Colorado. Colorado -3 with an under-over of 62 points. Oklahoma State bringing that prolific offense versus a pretty damn good defense of Colorado, although Colorado got blasted by Washington.
Okay.
How do they recover from that, Dream?
Well,
they were nowhere to be found in that Washington game. I was very disappointed in them in the Washington game. I thought for sure that they would have some kind of drive, some kind of ambition to win that. I mean, they just looked flat out there. So that bothered me. And you know what? I just don't know if the kid, you go from a PAC championship game and get bombed like that. Who knows? Oklahoma State 9-3 on the year.
I felt like Colorado was a little bit overrated. Okay, that's how I felt. And I saw their success. UCLA, they ran through. Arizona, they ran through. Washington State, they beat. Utah, they beat. Utah game was a very tough game for them, and I thought they were a little bit overrated. But that little 4-piece of schedule right there was heavy on them. Sure. By the time they got to Washington, dude, even though they were emotionally charged, they had to be a little bit worn out.
Yeah, I get it. Well,
okay?
How do you compare the PAC to the Big 12?
Well, I think the PAC is weaker, but not that much weaker. However, you know what?
That's a great comparison.
I like Oklahoma. Not Oklahoma, excuse me. I like Colorado in this position.
You like Colorado, huh?
I like Colorado in this position tonight. I do think Colorado's better than Oklahoma State.
You like defense wins bowl games?
I'm not going to go with all that because I don't think Colorado's defense is all that. It's pretty good, but not all that. I just think that, they had a nice rough schedule. They're battle-tested. They got some confidence. I like some of the things that they do on offense. I think they'll have some success against this Oklahoma State defense because Oklahoma State's defense, tad bit suspecty to me, just a tad bit.
Yeah.
I think Oklahoma showed some flaws in Oklahoma State's defense that I think Colorado should be able to execute a little bit better. I like Colorado in this position. Colorado, I think, gets it done today.
Well, yeah. I mean, you look at Oklahoma State's defense. They ranked 108th in collegiate football, 457 yards per game. And when you look at the Colorado defense, one big bright spot, and like I said, very, very big letdown for them in the PAC championship. But, Dream, opponent pass yards per attempt. They're number 1 in all of college football. They're going to have to dial this up, man, and play their A game defensively in order to hang with Oklahoma State. But you're probably onto something. I would say that Colorado probably gets this game done with defense.
You might want to do a money line parlay. Colorado.
Or a
Virginia
teaser and get them plus 3.5. I might do that as well.
That work too.
Yeah, so that might be something I might get involved in, guys. And that's pretty much going to do it for collegiate football, as there are 3 games on today. You have anything else to add for college football?
College football, I don't have anything else to add, gang. I just feel like, and I've said this in the past, take it easy with your college football. You know, you have some, listen, we're right on the precipice of college football playoffs, NFL playoffs. Just hold it down for a minute. You know what I mean? I think that some better situations are going to come in front of us that will be able to, probably, put a little bit more than we usually wager, moving forward in some of these better spots where we're going to get a lot better, one and done. So you're going to get max effort.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm sure you're licking your chops and getting ready for the Miami Dolphins to play in the AFC playoffs. Can't wait, right?
I can't. The Dolphins are. I just can't do it with the Dolphins. I can't. Right. I can't wait for their fans to start running around talking about how they're dope.
Yeah, no, I'm very conservative.
Miami Dolphin fans have been as quiet can be, which is I'll give them that props, those type of props right there.
I should have taken them in a future when Tannehill went down, because I was a believer in Matt Moore.
Yeah, I'm not.
Matt Moore is undefeated this year, Dream. Just saying. Just saying. So, all right, man, what else you got up your sleeve here?
Matt Mizzy. Let's get over to the NBA for a minute. A little bit of rumblings about a few things going on. Dwayne Wade leaves the game with migraines, and I understand that some of the migraines could be
the Chicago Bulls
catching losses. A loss will give you a headache, trust me.
Yeah, no doubt. Exactly.
A loss will give you a headache. Trust me. So we got to keep an eye on Dwayne Wade, and I am so surprised that we haven't seen any sightings of a Rondo Wade, a little bit of back and forth yet. But I expect it to be coming in the near future with all this controversy going on now with the Chicago Bull team. These attitudes, it's only a moment before it blows. In other news, as far as NBA is concerned, Steph Curry saying that the Warriors are not playing up to their strengths. Steph, then that might mean cutting your minutes.
Yeah, no doubt. Right on. Very good point. I mean, he is not. I mean, they're 28-5 though. They win 85% of the time.
Sure.
So I mean, what do they expect, to be undefeated?
I don't know what they expect to be. I know they wanted to beat the Cavs. I'm telling you, losing that Cavs game mentally for them.
Yeah.
That hurt.
Yeah.
Because you built that team, basically what you did in the offseason where you tried to build yourself to be able to beat the Cavs, and you come out wanting to beat them and lose.
Right on.
Especially in the fashion that they did lose, because there were spurts when they could have had that game and possibly taken it and putting it away, and they never were able to make it happen. So that's a very demoralizing loss for them. But the problem with this team, as far as I'm concerned still, is on the defensive side of their gameplay. The rebounding, the lack of rebounding or offensive rebounding thereof is going to be a problem, and their style of play is not built for NBA playoff basketball.
No, definitely not. And you know what? The lack of size too. I mean, outside Kevin Durant is a big man.
He's a big man
at
the 3-point line.
But he's not that that aggressive, that strong presence in the paint. You know what I'm saying? Like they're missing the big guy. They're missing the dominance.
First of all, he doesn't go to the paint.
No, I know. He's kind of dancing around. He's like a 7-foot point guard. Exactly. You know what I mean? Versus a team like the Cavs where you got, Tristan Thompson, and you got my boy sitting there muscling around as well. Sure. I mean, it's kind of crazy, and they have that West Coast style, Dream, that, they just want to outscore you and forget about playing defense. So
they definitely want to outscore you, forget about playing defense, but they need to, and that's the problem with regular season basketball, is because you can build the facade that you're better than you really are, because you're blowing these teams away, or you're able to do that against a lot of teams. But once the playoff starts, the basketball tempo just changes a lot, and especially in that finals game where you go play an East Coast, Eastern Division team that does not run, but they play half-court sets and play a whole different type of defense. So,
and that's why Draymond Green cries like a baby when he plays the Cavs, because they make him do so much work down low that he gets frustrated, especially with all the fouls. He goes nuts, Dream. He was going nuts like Chris.
I love Drizzy's game. You know what I mean? I know he cries and I see it, but I do love his game. He puts his heart out there, online. But if they got Drizzy just an ounce of help, and I know they don't, because that team's not built like that now. No. They went for more scoring as opposed to getting more, defensively sound. It's still how this team can't be successful and win. I still am not ready to say that they can't, because the talent just speaks for itself. But it's going to take a lot, and it is going to take some innovative coaching to get this team over the hump as far as the playoff is concerned. And I don't know that Steve Kerr is up to the task.
What about Mike Biscuit?
Mike Biscuit, because I know that Mike Biscuit is not up to the task.
What about Mike Brown sitting there on the sidelines for Golden State? Come on. I saw his ball head the other day. I was laughing my ass off.
That is so funny because I saw it and didn't think about it. And then you hit me up with a text later during the day and I almost crashed my car laughing. And I'm like, oh, my God, that's right. That was Mike Brown on the sideline. He lost a little bit of weight.
Yeah, a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, man. All right, Dream. So what else you got before we close out of here?
All right, so as far as the NBA is concerned tonight, let's look at a couple of matchups really quick, guys. Remember, it is early in the morning, but you do have the Charlotte Hornets at home playing Miami Heat team. Hassan Whiteside. The Heat, kind of disappointing this season. I know they got decimated with injuries. I know Wade is gone, but this season is not starting off or working out anywhere near like they wanted it to. The Hornets, on the other hand, pretty good, getting it done. Kemba Walker doing his thing. Love the moxie of this Charlotte Hornets team and what they're able to do. The Charlotte Hornets are given 7 points tonight, and they are at home. I do like the Charlotte Hornets in this matchup. I would manipulate that 7. I do think that they will beat the Heat by 7, but I probably would manipulate that 7 and get it in some type of a money line situation. The other game I'm looking at, which I find very interesting, and I'll have to hit a couple of you guys up after the show and talk to you about it, some of the NBA guys. The Oklahoma Thunder are going in to play the Grizzlies.
Yep.
The Grizzlies are giving the Thunder 1.5, and I don't really understand that line.
I understand it.
Okay.
Grizzlies are 20-14 on the year, Dream. They're 12-7 at home.
All right.
And you know what? They actually have lost 2 games in a row. So you get a team like that that's pretty hungry for a win at home. Chances are they usually come to shine and try to win this game tonight. I got to be honest with you.
I thought Conley's out, though.
Oh, I got to take a look at the injury report and see.
I think that Conley is out. I'm not sure. You guys, let me know. You guys know. But as I remember it, Conley had an injury, and he's out. And I just don't know without Conley. Yeah, Mike Conley's out.
Okay.
He's out. I don't understand. That's my thing. I hear you with their record, but with Conley not being here right now, with Westbrook coming into town doing his thing,
yeah,
I don't know. That's a scratch my head. So I will confer with some guys after. First looks and first thoughts, guys, real early, is that spread's wrong, and the Thunder should as far as I'm concerned, beat the Grizzlies. But we can talk about it a little bit after the show. I'll hit up a couple people on the DM, but you might want to take a look at that game. I like the Hornets. I kind of like the Thunder, but I'm not going to go crazy yet till I hear a couple people talk to me about the Grizzlies without Conley, how they've been playing so far, because I know they've had a couple games without him.
All right, and you know what? Russell Westbrook has been amazing this year. I think he's averaging a triple-double now.
Off the chain, absolutely, off the hook. There's nothing you can say enough about him. The only thing I can say, the NBA season is too long for all that energy that he's using right now. He will wear down.
Yes, he will.
It's just inevitable. There's no way he can keep this pace and keep it going. It just can't. You can't sustain it. It's too much.
Right on. So, Dream, that going to do it for us?
I guess can I take a quick little glance at the ice?
Take a look at the ice. See if you got anything for the nation here.
Let me get a quick look at the ice, guys. You know I've been talking about that New Jersey Devil team. Oh, my God, there they go. They're playing the Capitals tonight.
There you go.
Go clobber the Caps. Clobber the Caps. The Devils lost the other night. Clobber the Caps. I've been betting against this Devils team, and it has been very successful. So you might want to go ahead and get out there and get involved with the Capitals. And my other favorite team this season has been the San Jose Sharks. They are off this evening. They're not playing. So you might want to leave the par open. But I definitely like the Capitals. It's minus 200. You guys know how I roll. It's a heavy money line, but it's a win.
It's a win. To mix it up with a little football, maybe.
Can mix up with a little football. I know I talked about not liking the Dallas Stars. I'm going to give you one other team you might want to look at putting it with. The Colorado Avalanche, to me, running neck and neck with the New Jersey Devils as being a bad team, except I think the upside for the Avalanche is a lot better than New Jersey. I'm not going to go crazy with this one, but you might want to take the Stars and put them with the Capitals in a money line parlay, or you just take the Capitals and leave it open. Those are my thoughts for hockey.
All right, sounds good, Dream.
All right, player.
All right, so it's time to roll. We'll be back tomorrow, Friday, and getting ready for the new year 2017, Dream. So
got a little special something for you tomorrow in works. Let's see if I can make it happen overnight. We will see. So definitely tune in and check us out. I promise you I won't talk about Dallas too much tomorrow, but it'll probably be a little bit more hate spewed out. Cowboy fans, you brought on yourself. Okay? Be humble, keep your mouth shut, act like Patriot fans, act like you've been there before.
Right.
I know it's been a long time since you have been there before. Terrence Mack, Mar, Hoopstar. What up, player? Terry Bouchard, Buster Carr, Shine Whitehead, Joseph Del Rosario, Immaculate, Jason Riley, Jay Snyder, Cash Action Bets is out there, Tip Talker, Vegas Girl 92661, Wooch GG, Rick Lopez. Now listen, guys, there are a couple real classic Cowboy fans. I mean, my man Cash Action Bets, he's a Cowboy fan. The incredible Molly Mars is a Dallas Cowboy fan. Even Papa Bear is a Cowboy fan. Guys, don't take it personal, okay? I'm not talking to you. Most of you guys have been real quiet most of the season, haven't gone ham and taking it in stride. You know, nobody's been blowing me up. Like, you know, you guys been pretty credible and cool. You know the ones I'm talking about.
Right
I'm
on.
the Dream. Always remember we make the most of everything. Let's not get this time back.
Yes, sir. Dream. So getting ready for tomorrow. Be watching a little college bowls after work today and getting ready for a big weekend of the NFL along with the college football playoff. Ready to rock. Guys, we love you to death. Go out there and conquer the world. Get ready. Get your New Year's resolutions popping because next week it begins and get that money. Let's go.